The third presentation will be made by Mr. Jose Fernando Mejia.
선생님 먼저 소개해 올리겠습니다.
So I would like to introduce the
평화
speaker.
교실 프로그램의
So
상임
currently the
이사로
executive
활동하고 있고요.
director of the Ula Sampas
하버드대학에서
Classrooms in
국제
Peace,
교육 정책
and it
석사학위를
currently
받으셨고
has
9년간
studied
국제
the
교류에서
political
교과 및
science,
교육
has a master
분야에서
degrees
경험을
in
쌓고
that
있습니다.
topic, and has in-depth
현재 평화교육을
experience in the
위해서
education
무국적
field.
시민단체들 간의
Currently,
파트너십을 이루고 있는
he is highlighting the partnership with seven partner
일을
organizations
맡고 있습니다.
at EduCampus.
메이아 선생님께서는
So Mr.
먼저 주제를
Mejia
맡겠습니다.
will today speak
초등교육에서의
on the
평화
topic
교육이라는
of
주제로 발표해
peace
주십니다.
education in primary
먼저
schools.
부탁드리겠습니다.
So the floor is yours.
Thank you very much. And can you hear me well? Just to check if the audio is okay. A special greeting to Dr. Chung. It's always a pleasure to meet you and to learn from you. And good morning, good evening, and good afternoon to all over the world. I'm gonna share with you some of our experience in the Classrooms in Peace program. But first, let me just talk about some characteristics of the Colombian educational system. In Colombia, education is decentralized, which means we don't have a national curriculum, neither a specific textbooks or pedagogic tools that are used national for the teachers in our country. But we have general guidelines and standards and a long tradition of citizenship education. As you may know, Colombia is a country that suffers violence due to the internal conflict and narco traffic for almost 60 years. And education has been a way to deal with these problems. Since 2004, we have developed the National Citizenship Competencies program. So we were one of the first countries in Latin America to have a national standards of citizenship competencies that included social emotional development and different types of competencies from cognitive to emotional and behavioral. We also have a national test that measures those competencies and allow us to know if we are improving in the development of these skills and abilities. More recently, we have learning to live together law that told all the schools in the country to have actions for prevention and management of aggression, specifically dealing with conflict resolution and the prevention of bullying. And in 2016, we developed the Cátedra de Paz, which is sort of a class for peace, and all schools must have peace education initiatives. In this context, Aulas en Paz, which means classrooms in peace, was born to bridge the gap between policy and the practice. As happened all over the world, our policies sometimes are really good design, but the practice is really far from the reality of the documents of the policies. So Classrooms in Peace, Aulas en Paz, is a multi-component program for the prevention of aggression. We are aimed to the primary schools and the primary education, and we have universal and focalized activities in order to have both a primary and secondary prevention approach. We work with teachers, students, and families and focus on the ages between 8 and 11 years. And we work for the development of social emotional skills for peaceful conflict resolution and bullying prevention. And a great part of our work has to do with teacher training and the developing of different materials. And the program was created 15 years ago in the University of Los Andes. For the professor Enrique Chaux was the leader of the developing of the program. Our components include some classroom materials. We have a curriculum for the teachers to develop some sessions in a specific space in the curriculum, frequently related with ethics and civics is the name of the class. And we have another space in the curriculum that is integrated with the language class. So we work for almost 40 sessions in the year and developing different kind of competencies in these spaces with all the students that participate in the program. And also we have workshops with parents in the universal intervention. So we have these activities to all the students that participate in the program, and we also focus the students who are at more risk. For us, those are the students who are more aggressive, and we make some activities specifically directed to those students. We have home visits to the families of those students to work with the parents in order to improve the capacities of deal with conflicts, or to manage discipline, or to improve their relationships in the homes. And we have something that we call heterogeneous groups, or clubs, that are groups of 6 students, 4 of them with high levels of prosocial skills, and 2 of them with high levels of aggression. So the idea is that the children that need the most to develop these competencies can learn from each other, having these positive models that accompany them in the process of developing these skills. And all of this is really accompanied by teacher training. We have a really strong component of teacher training, and what we do is first to develop the competencies of the teachers. So the teachers learn to deal with their emotions, manage their conflicts, and build positive relationships. And second, we help them to acquire pedagogic tools to develop these competencies with their children. And third, we help them to build democratic environments so children can be safe, and they can their voice can be heard, and norms are constructively built, so they can really make these democratic environments. We develop 8 citizenship competencies, or social emotional competencies. Some of them are emotional, anger management, empathy. Others are cognitive, perspective taking, creative generation of options, analysis of consequences, critical thinking. And we also deal with behavior. For example, we have some communicative competencies, in between them active listening and assertiveness. Our 2 main topics are conflict resolution and bullying. And in the 2nd grade, we deal with these competencies in order to prevent aggression in a general way. In the 3rd grade, we organize our curriculum around conflict resolution. 4th grade, we deal with bullying, the prevention of bullying directly. And in 5th grade, we return to conflict resolution and include some mediation or intervention of third parties. Here you can see how we work about bullying. We fundamentally develop empathy for the aggressors and bystanders to act to defend victims. We don't think that bullying is a phenomenon related with some people that are bad and some people that are good. No, it's a social phenomena, and we give protagonism to the bystanders and spectators to act, to speak up, and to defend victims. And we also develop assertiveness to do so without having to use aggression. So we want to change the social development of the classes in order to protect the victims and to improve and strengthen the abilities and skills of all the people involved in bullying, for example. In more than 15 years, we have reached more than 400 schools of 47 cities or municipalities in Colombia. We have also been implemented in Mexico, thanks to the Organization of American States and a project of technical cooperation. We have been in Mexico since 2009 and have reached almost 12 schools. And we also have a pilot implementation in Chile since 4 years ago. It worked very well, but we haven't been able to scale it up. The the most big program or project that we have been involved was the designing of the national social emotional curriculum in Peru. We work with the Peruvian Ministry of Education and the World Bank, and we designed the national curriculum inspired in Aulas en Paz. Many of our tools, our activities were included in this curriculum from all the cycle of the education. And you can find this in the World Bank pages in the document section. It is in English and Spanish. And in this project, we reached almost 4 million students. So it was really big for us. It was a privilege to participate in this project. And one thing that really characterizes is that Aulas en Paz have had multiple evaluations. In the first stages, we have evaluations from a qualitative approach, and then we developed some designings that included quantitative approaches, both formative and summative. Now we have a quasi-experimental design with pre-test and post-test measures and control groups. And in all of these evaluations, we have had the opportunity of identify that the program is able to decrease aggression, increase prosocial behaviors, and improve the abilities of teachers to be more democratic. That is, be less authoritarian or permissive, and develop a more acceptive style to deal with, for example, discipline matters. These are some examples of the evaluations we have had. This is from the first evaluations when we use classroom observations. These are the names of the students that were focalized because of the aggressive behaviors. The last column, it is in Spanish. Otros means others. This is the other students in the classroom, and it's February, June, and October. So you can see that along the year, aggression diminished in a very spectacular way. For example, Diego, who was one of the children more aggressive at the beginning of the year, in October has none aggressions observed per hour. So it was really impressive what we accomplished at a really small scale in a very controlled environment. Then we have a really big project, and we have the opportunity of having a more complex evaluation with the control and experimental groups and pre-test and post-test. You can see here that the aggression, the physical aggression, according to the students' reports, it has diminished in a very important way in the experimental group, whereas the control group remains almost the same. Something similar happened with the verbal aggression. We are able to see and to assert that Aulas en Paz is really a program that is able to decrease aggression, both verbal and physical, in the project that we have been involved. These are the kids of Aulas en Paz. They are our reason to everything we do. Nowadays, we are working in order to develop more tools using technology because of the pandemic. And maybe if you can read in Spanish, sorry, we don't have the materials in English. In the Facebook page of Aulas en Paz, you can find some of the characters and the tools we have developed for the teachers. Just to tell you about some of them, we have a turtle that teach students how to deal with their anger. So when this turtle is called Tuga. In Spanish sounds really well because it's Tuga la tortuga, Tuga the turtle. And this turtle, when she has anger, she goes into their shell, and the children make their shell with their arms like this. And when they are in the shell, like the turtle, they breathe deeply, they count to 10, they tell each other, talk to themselves and tell some things that calm calm their down. So these kind of characters help us to help the children to deal with these capacities, to develop their skills. Aulas en Paz, Classrooms in Peace is not a program of discourse. It's a program that aims to develop the skills teachers, the skills students, and the skills parents need to build more democratic environments and to deal with each other and to build more peaceful relationships and to project into the world and make the change we want to produce. Thank you very much.